So hi, welcome to this episode of History Hunters. We decided to stop here along Route 66 here in Rialto, California, or San Bernardino, however you want to look at it. Stop here and take a look at this fun place called the Wigwam Motel. In the 1940s and 50s, you probably took road trips with your family and couldn't endure the long hours of travel. Dad wouldn't stop. You'd always ask, hey, are we there yet? But at the end of the day, when you stopped at a motel, it was always worth it, and you got to swim in the pool and watch TV and do all the fun things outside of the car. Well, this is one of those kind of catchy places that was invented by a man who thought this would be a good way to trap the travelers who are going up and down Route 66. He decided to create an Indian village here. It's called Wigwam Village. It's actually on the National Register of Historic Places, so it's protected. It's still in operation. You can stay in it. And the manager said that Sarah and I could go in and check out one of the rooms. I am a sucker for nostalgia like this, especially if it has to do with Route 66 in the 40s, just the way that people traveled by car. Back in the days when you took road trips as a family, it doesn't seem like they do that much anymore. But the front of this building is decorated with some pretty cool objects, like this wooden Indian right here. He's pointing the way to the Wigwam Motel, hoping that you'll stay here. The front of this building, of course, has a ton of neat signs. Very nostalgic Route 66. Kind of shows you here. Route 66 started in Chicago, Illinois, went to St. Louis, went down to Kansas, Oklahoma City, Amarillo, Texas, then through Albuquerque, Flagstaff, and right down here, Southern California. Giant wheeled bicycle here, and some classic cars that are reminiscent of the 40s. They are plastic cars. They're not the expensive metal cars because they probably would have been ripped off already. Right here outside the office, there's a little fuel pump and some travel trunks. Now, this is an interesting little addition to this park. It's an enclosed like a fake telephone booth. It's been padlocked. There's actually an old phone in there. But you don't see those every day, do you? So Route 66 was significant because there were a lot of people from the Midwest, particularly during the Oklahoma Dust Bowl, who fled to California in search of jobs. They would pack up their belongings and their families, and they would travel down this stretch of Highway 66. Route 66 went all the way to Santa Monica, California. A lot of destitute people came through here. When I think of Route 66, I think of John Steinbeck and the Grapes of Wrath, and about how the Okies who fled the Dust, they needed work, so they came out here to California, and they found plenty of work in the agricultural fields of the Central Valley of California.
During the 1930s, drought and falling crop prices drove thousands of rural Midwestern families to flee their farms and follow Route 66 into California to find work. Among them were James and Flossie Haggard, who abandoned their farm in Oklahoma after a 1935 fire destroyed their barn and its contents. The Haggards made their home near Bakersfield, and James found work with the Santa Fe Railroad. Their son Merle was born in Bakersfield and began his singing career there. By the 1960s, Merle Haggard was a country music legend. The route became immortalized in a 1940s song that suggested that listeners get their kicks on Route 66. The song came about when Bobby Troup, an aspiring songwriter and music arranger, drove from Pennsylvania to Los Angeles in 1946 to advance his career. During the long trip, his wife Cynthia suggested that he write a song about highways, and she thought of the rhyme, "Get your kicks on Route 66." Bobby penned the rest of the lyrics and music as they traveled the famous highway. In Los Angeles, he performed the song for Nat King Cole, who made it a hit.
Get your kicks on Route 66. Get your kicks on Route 66.
Route 66 was commissioned in 1926 and fully paved by the late 1930s. It ran from Chicago to Los Angeles, creating connections between hundreds of small towns and providing a trucking route throughout the Southwest. The highway was replaced by the interstate system in the 1950s. While not the first long-distance highway or the most traveled, Route 66 gained fame as the Mother Road by John Steinbeck in his book, The Grapes of Wrath. Tulsa, Oklahoma businessman Cyrus Avery is credited with creating the identity of Route 66. After seeing the need for better roads through his state, as chairman of the State Highway Commission, he helped plan the national system of numbered highways. His proposal for a highway from Chicago to Los Angeles along the southern route was approved and designated US 66 in 1926. This very unique motel started when Kentucky businessman Frank Redford bought an ice cream cone from the teepee barbecue stand in Long Beach. He was taken by the architecture, which was in the form of an Indian teepee. In 1933, he patented a building design and constructed his first motel in Horse Cave, Kentucky. These buildings are misnamed wigwams because apparently Redford disliked the term teepee. Wigwams are actually round dome structures used by a number of northeastern Native American tribes. 6 other motels came about, and by the time he built this motel in San Bernardino in 1949, he figured that he had enough. Situated on the famous Route 66, the Wigwam Motel is in the true American tradition of the roadside attraction, just like other classic roadside attractions that line America's highways in the past. Only 3 Wigwam motels still remain. This one, the one in Holbrook, Arizona, and the first one built at Cave City.
The original drawing includes the swastika, which at the time was a symbol associated with Native Americans, often worn as a good luck charm. There were 7 wigwam villages that were built between 1933 and 1949. Frank Redford actually built this complex for himself and not as a franchise. Now, there are all kinds of used vehicles back here. This old tractor, and over here we've got an old van. My grandfather had a van like that. That is so nostalgic. Check it out, the way they've got that decorated. The back of it indicates that motel has been here since 1949. That thing's seen its better days. It's a little GMC pickup. We've got a rusty old shell of a vehicle right here. Check out that old car there. So you would just pull in the spot here, get your key, and go right in. Stay in one of these wigwams. Actually, they're teepees. Check out this old car. It's an old Chrysler, and boy, it is a wreck. Not even sure if that could be restored, but possibly could. So if you're a Disney fan and like the movie Cars, you probably recognize the fact that they copied the idea of the wigwam and translated it to the Cone Motel, which was Disney's version for Cars, obviously, because Cars would want to stay in Cone Motel, not Indian wigwam teepees type facility.
Because I failed to turn on our wireless mic system, we lost the audio to this segment as I was explaining that the motel manager gave us a key to room 10 so we could shoot video to show our audience. Sarah, as she would soon find out, was expecting something much different on the inside.
We go into the room and I didn't know what to expect other than somehow the room would be tied to represent something indigenous, but instead it was modern mixed with not so modern, mixed with references of Indian, not necessarily anything authentic. So it just felt weird. When I investigate the bathroom, somehow that tile configuration is something I've seen before somewhere else, and I'm not sure where. I want to think somewhere in like a previous employer's bathroom, but the inside does not represent teepee. Oh, the motorcycles on the wall. I think that's a connection to Indian. Yeah, Indian motorcycle or something. Somebody made an Indian motorcycle. The shape of the teepee room and the word Indian are the only things that connect the two. And I thought they could probably have done a better job at that. But I guess this is an old 50s. It seems kind of indicative of the era, and then it just never got with the times.
Now the rooms were like 180 square feet, I was told. So if you had kids, they needed a place to run around and play, and this would be a great place to play. And of course, the kids would naturally want to swim in the pool. So there's a nice pool. There's also the nostalgic signs, metal signs over here for Shell, Cadillac, Mustang, and Texaco.
As a point of trivia, this motel was featured in Bobcat Goldthwait's 2011 dark comedy film, God Bless America.
So I want to thank you for joining us on this nostalgic look back on Route 66 and the Wigwam Motel here in Southern California. We would love to hear what you thought about this little visit. Maybe if you stay here, let us know about that, how it went for you. And also, give us a thumbs up. Thank you so much.